and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and this video is a little different. I recorded this video back in May about how I plant my Lisianthus after growing it from seed. And I was very pregnant with twins at the time. In fact, I delivered a little over a month later. However, I went to the hospital early with contractions and never got this video posted. It all worked out. They were able to stop my contractions, so the babies stayed in for longer and were born at a more appropriate time for them. But like I said, I never got this video out. So here is how I plant my Lisianthus along with the results of this year. So you'll see some footage of how they have grown with things I planted with them, and then also a couple other things I've grown. So enjoy. Here we go. Hey, garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and I'm coming to you on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm getting my Lisianthus in the ground. My favorite cut flower, the most beautiful, the most challenging, I think, to grow. You start it way back in December or January here in zone 5B/6A, and then it takes 6 months to go from sowing the seed to an actual bloom. But I just think they're so worth it. And for me personally, the challenge makes it even more rewarding when they bloom. And last year I had my first big armful of blooms. Here we are. It's the pose. Am I hitting it? Am I hitting it? I got the picture. I got it. I've done it. I did it. Cloud 9. Your girl was soaring. So we're gonna get these in the ground today. These were started on February 17th. I did pot them up pretty quickly, and when I say pot up, I mean took them from their soil blocks, which was started with ocean forest potting soil because it's the only thing I had. It was really crumbly and they weren't doing great. So I potted them up pretty quickly into these cell trays. I have one like this, and then also a 50 cell tray, and they've done spectacular since doing that. Look at those babies! April 25th was my last frost date, so these could have gone out even before, but time has finally permitted me to do this, so we're gonna get them in the ground today. And real quick, can we just look at this tulip bed here? Oh my goodness sakes. I'm gonna try and film a video of my favorite varieties that I've grown for cut flower tulips this year, but this bed just sends me to the moon. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna get Biotone starter fertilizer spread throughout the bed. And that little green that you see poking up in the bed is a ranunculus from last year. These beds are 4 by 7.5 feet, and the drip irrigation is already set up and turned on through a Hunter BTT system, so I can do that from my phone or just manually. And this is the only fertilizer that I'll put in throughout the entire season. I don't fertilize them after this. And we're just going to use the butter knife method, which is really easy. I'll show you how we do that with one. Okay, so I'm just going to start by taking my knife on the side and pulling that cell up. And I should see a lot of little roots, which I do. That's fantastic. And so when I'm coming in, I'm going to space these probably about 4 to 6 inches apart. I did pretty close last year, and they did well. I did have some flopping, so I might get cattle panel to place on top of this before they get too tall, so it'll help support them. Fast forwarding to July, I did not use cattle panel, and they did well. I'm taking my knife, coming in, pulling back some soil, dropping that in, just like that. And I'm done. I'm just going to do that little motion, drop it in, cover it up throughout the whole bed. So here's how we're looking. Pretty good. That's the spacing that I'm using. And then AJ is helping me plant today to make it go faster. He's doing a good job. Here's what his look like, and this tray is a little bigger as well. And we'll meet in the middle, and I actually don't think it's going to fill it all up. So I'll come up with something in the middle here, probably some sort of Rudbeckia I've got sitting out front. Before I go get that tray of Rudbeckia, let me tell you the varieties that I'm planting. We have Voyage 2 First Love.
This is that First Love variety.
Voyage 2 Green.
This is the green one I was just talking about.
Voyage 2 Lavender.
Lavender Lisianthus. Here she is.
And Voyage 2 Champagne. Arena 3 Apricot. And Corelli 3 Light Pink. I also did have Voyage 2 White. Okay, AJ is just now putting his last Lisianthus in the ground, and so it looks like we're gonna have maybe 2 feet of space left for planting, which is fine because I've got my Rudbeckia that needs to go out. So here's my tray of Rudbeckia. I've got 3 types. This bigger one here is Triloba, which I'm growing for the first time this year, and it gets up to 8 feet.
That Triloba Rudbeckia behind me.
So I'm not going to use that one because I don't want to shade out the Lisianthus. But I've also got Sahara Rudbeckia.
So I just picked some Sahara Rudbeckia,
which is a beautiful one with burgundy and yellows. And then the last one I've got is Chimney Rudbeckia that is a little more like a chimney sweeper and gets a little taller.
Here we have Chimney Rudbeckia.
So I'm going to go with the more compact Sahara Rudbeckia in the middle. So spacing on these, I'm going to say about 6 inches, just a little more wide than the Lisianthus, because Lisianthus has a more upright growth habit, and the Rudbeckia, Sahara Rudbeckia, will be just a little wider.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
Fortunately, we got it all in, and there is the Sahara in the middle. Not a ton of plants, but enough that I'm not wasting that real estate. Looks great. And then back on this end, we've got Lisianthus again. So I'm happy with that. That should work well.
I have to say, I'm incredibly pleased with that. Long stems, check, we've got it. Lisianthus is about ready to bloom. The Lisianthus.
And then so you get an idea of what's happening with these. This is the Chimney Rudbeckia. I'll put these on this side of the bed and some also on this side of the bed. That bed was one of my favorite cut flower beds last year, so I'm hoping we get a good show again as well.
Here is one of my favorite views of the garden. Love it, love it, love it.
So I'm so pleased to have this project done with the Lisianthus in the raised beds. I wish I had enough for 2 beds, but it didn't happen this year. Next year, I'm bringing the heat. So many Lisianthus. But I'll still have some, and it'll be magical. So the only thing I have left to get in are the warm season annuals I just started a little bit ago, like Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. And Amaranth and Zinnias. And I am going to, if not today, tomorrow, direct sow the zinnias and get some of the starts that I have of the zinnias in the ground into a couple raised beds. So we'll have plenty to work with this year, I think. I think we've managed to pull it off in the midst of this crazy twin pregnancy. So please comment below and let me know how your Lisianthus are doing. Are they out in your garden? Are they growing and putting on some height? I hope so. And also remember, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Happy planting. Bye.